Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton. The marriage that was meant to be a heaven-made match, a superstar driver pairing with a heritage-rich and prestigious team, ends up fighting controversy, confusion, and chaos instead. This is the epic tale of a team fighting for its future, a driver fighting mounting frustration, and a sport grappling with fairness and controversy. Ferrari and Hamilton appear to be in a bit of a hard place currently, with a 7-time world champion experiencing something he has never encountered before in his long career. With the Maranello-based team struggling to map out a path for itself, there is a great deal of wondering if we will witness some big and dramatic team and driver changes in the near future. And if so, would it lead to an even more combative attitude from Hamilton toward his race engineers? There is no doubt about it. Ferrari and Hamilton are clearly not in a good position at present. The facts do the talking. For the first time in his Formula One career, a career that began all the way back in 2007, Hamilton completed the initial 10 races without claiming a podium spot in a conventional Grand Prix configuration. Although he did manage 2 podiums in the sprint races, in the traditional Sunday races, the new Ferrari team he has signed with has not yet managed a top 3 finish. This is a clear sign that something is going deeply wrong. Even Hamilton knows it, and he knows it more than anyone. Ferrari stands a very good chance of being under intense pressure from Hamilton to speed up their development process, to advance innovations, new rules, and a new era where Hamilton gets an opportunity to test his competitors from square one. It's pretty certain that Lewis doesn't like the upgrades that are underway in the team. In addition, he is taken aback at the media portrayal, as if there were tremendous improvements when there were none, particularly during the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. When asked what he expected the new package to deliver in Canada, Hamilton played coyly surprised, saying, "My team brought 0 upgrades, and we desperately need some if we're going to start competing at the front." Overall, his disappointment is through the roof. And in Canada, we had him stuck in no man's land again, qualifying at a very suspect time and racing a lone race with no one square in his rearview mirror. This just fuels his increasing incredulity at the team's potential to reach their best. The same could not be said for Charles Leclerc as well. The Monegasque driver lost out on a possible podium finish due to a dubious tactic by his team. This also serves to further emphasize the increasing travails of Ferrari. Gaining more in-depth insight into his disillusionment with Ferrari and the fact that the team is obviously no longer in contention for the Drivers' Championship, Hamilton explained, "There are many things I would like to say, but I cannot be so free. There is much going on within the company. I want to be a catalyst for change, ensure the team achieves long-term success. I'm always questioning the engineers, urging them to be more advanced. They tell me, 'We've done it this way.' And I respond, 'But what if we did it another way?'" He added, "I genuinely don't know why we have not brought in any substantial upgrades. I hope they come very shortly. We require a lot of them. It's obvious we are no longer fighting for the championship. We need to concentrate rather on laying a solid platform for next season. It is not pleasant to see a driver of my level fighting for P5 or P6, without getting on the podium after 10 races in Formula One." Yes, this is a sensational decline for Hamilton, but it has to be noted that even rookie Kimi Antonelli, who recently stood in for him at Mercedes, managed to achieve a podium and even a pole in Miami. This only raises doubts as to whether Hamilton made the correct decision in signing with the Maranello squad. While hopes for 2025 were not at an all-time high, we are now seeing some major shake-up within Ferrari's inner circles. And the most glaring display of that tumult is the exchange between Hamilton and his race engineer. Though their interactions have greatly improved from where they began in Australia, there remain numerous challenges to be addressed. For Hamilton, he has to change style and method to get the best out of the SF25, contributing to the mounting uncertainty over their future together. His expectations for the Austrian Grand Prix were further enhanced by his conviction that the car could be somewhat more competitive there. Following up more on the process of adaptation and its impact on his performance, Hamilton added, "I think it's just mainly me adapting, but I do feel like Montreal showed quite clearly the weaknesses of the car. I've never had a car understeer as much at low speed. It just doesn't want to turn through turn 2 or turn 10. So, yeah, not my favorite weekend by any means, but hopefully next one will be better." One issue under heavy pressure on Hamilton throughout the first 10 races of the season was the car's setup. Something that, according to many, was going completely wrong on his side. At the Montreal Grand Prix, though, the 7-time world champion was adamant that the SF25 had been perfectly set up for himself and for Leclerc. So the fault of their P5 and P6 lies squarely at the doorstep of the team's strategies rather. Let's not forget, it would have been P6 and P7 if not for the infamous Norris crash. Elaborating further on this, Hamilton said, "We did the best we could with the setup we have been working flat out all weekend trying to extract maximum performance, but I just don't think the car is going to go much faster. I definitely don't think we can compete with the guys at the front, and we just have to accept that's the way it is. It was always supposed to be a challenge for Hamilton to push the boundaries with the SF25 and Ferrari. But at the end of the day, I don't think the situation is going to get much better from this point of view. The engineers do not seem to be listening to the feedback the drivers are putting forward, a growing concern for Ferrari. If they're not making the right adjustments and giving credit to the experience their drivers are bringing to the team, then there's little opportunity for them to gain ground in the standings. This could prove to be a big problem for Ferrari in the future if the team is not capable of reaching its full potential. If they're not responding to the suggestions of their drivers, then I feel that there's a very small window for them to be able to compete for race victories and championships in the immediate future. So, what's next for Hamilton? He knows himself very well that 2025 is a lost year, and all he can do now is attempt to adapt to some things that will not change for 2026, e.g., the behavior of the engine. But on the contrary side, we have not seen Hamilton in this sort of shape before. He was totally out of his own character. Whether we like it or not, Ferrari does appear to be the tomb of his career. Yes, he was here to win races and to run up front, but as things stand, it appears more like he is fighting just to remain relevant in a team that is unable to fix its own issues. Whoever should be blamed for this shocking lack of performance? You'd be thinking of Frédéric Vasseur, and the Frenchman's Ferrari seat is a foregone conclusion. Although rumors were refuted by Ferrari and later denied, there are plenty of media outlets that think Vasseur will be under intense pressure in the coming days. Not only that, but the drivers' views, and their increasing disgruntlement, will not be taken lightly. Wigner and Elkann have already lost their patience with the potential of the car not being extracted to its absolute maximum. Ferrari went through a major team principle change when Vasseur came in, and while many considered him an improvement over Mattia Binotto, the lack of results speaks for itself. Some believe that Fred Vasseur could be thrown under the bus for the team's ongoing underperformance, but that's up to Ferrari to decide. The manner in which Ferrari manages their races is, at the least, questionable. You can't send your drivers out there with inadequate information or a poorly coordinated plan, and that's exactly what we've been witnessing. Although their pit stops are getting faster, the terrible calls and dubious choices from the pit wall are a huge deficit in their ability to catch up with their competition. We can't forget Leclerc's Montreal performance and how it was marred by the team's muddled tactics. When it was revealed that the team was contemplating Plan B, Leclerc responded, "On the basis of how the tyre performs, I think we should be going for Plan C." This would have been a switch from the hard compound to medium, and vice versa, not unlike Norris, who was fighting for a top-3 finish as Leclerc slipped further down the field. The fact that the team brought him in to reinstall hard rubber back, which means another ensuing stop, indicates how much confusion and disorder is ruling over the team. Imagine this: Max Verstappen dictating his own strategy, only for it to be dismissed by his team or contradicted without so much as a sentence on the radio. We know that would be unthinkable at Red Bull, but at Ferrari, it's becoming more and more the norm. This is again evidence of the increasing issues in the team's operating framework, a framework that cannot allow its drivers to be at their best. With all this considered, what do you think of Ferrari's performance with Hamilton and Leclerc, two superstar drivers fighting against their own team's fate? Do you think they need to go to 2026 as soon as possible? Or can this team turn it around before then? Let us know in the comments below. And as soon as you do that, be sure to click on the video that is showing on your screen right now.